right, guys, what is up? What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Breakfast with the Brand, the number one podcast in the world for entrepreneurs and leaders who want to take their brands to the next level. Of course, I am your host, Junior Frederick, and I have with me Bobby Stealth. And today we're going to be talking about the keys to positioning. How do you stand out in a noisy marketplace? So, two things, guys. If you're live, go ahead and put your flames in the comments. And of course, let us know where you're listening in from. Bobby, what's up? How you doing?
Doing absolutely phenomenal, Junior. And this morning is special for me because willpower is something I don't think we talk about enough. Willpower. And I was just watching something last night that was really interesting to me. If you guys don't have the Daily Wire, I don't know, get it, get it. It's much better than Netflix to me. It's much better than Hulu to me because I really don't watch TV. Like, I don't watch movies like that, but I love informative documentaries and discourses between intellectuals. And one of the things that they were talking about just sparked in me a desire to improve my willpower, to focus on it. So today I'm feeling very willful, very determined, very focused. So that's how I feel, Junior. I feel really good, but I think will is something that we can all pay a bit more attention to from time to time.
Oh yeah. I mean, will is one of the 12 powers of man.
Mhm.
So there's something called the 12 powers of man. Will is definitely one of them. So I mean, if no willpower, Bobby, then I don't know. There's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing you can do. So willpower is absolutely necessary. So terrific Tuesday from Detroit. Shout out to Dr. Michelle. Guys, today we're gonna be getting into positioning. So number one, what is positioning? So write this down. What do we mean when we talk about positioning? Let's define a couple terms. So positioning basically means what position or what is your perception in the market, in the mind of your audience. So whatever audience that you're serving, how do they think about you? Do they think about you as a commodity? Do they think of you as a premium brand? Do they think about you as the best? Or are you like everybody else? Are you like the rest? That's a real question. So are you the best or are you like the rest? Okay. Are you unconquerable or are you conquerable? Right? Are you number one or are you not? Nobody remembers number two. Nobody remembers number two. So are you the best? Now, positioning, Bobby, when we talk about establishing a positioning, we're talking about establishing a perception in the mind of the audience based on your branding. That's what we're talking about.
That's right.
So today, guys, we're going to be getting into some of the keys for positioning, and we might be touching on a little bit of, luxury positioning. Like, is luxury positioning necessary? And if so, how do you do it? How do you achieve luxury positioning? I'll give you guys a clue before I pass it over to Bobby. What really is a brand? A brand is all about association. So luxury positioning, luxury association. Let's start there. So what are your thoughts on that, Bobby?
My thoughts originally, my first thought is a bit controversial. It would say think smaller, right? That's what it says out of the gate. It says think smaller, but it doesn't really mean think small. It means think specific. So when I think about a luxury brand and I think about a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Rolex, a Ruth Chris, a Four Seasons, just brands that are quite luxurious, I think about a small group of people that enjoy this, that are able to enjoy this high end experience. And one of the things that sparks my mind when I think about luxury brands and I think about luxury positioning and I think about what really drives these. And by the way, guys, I'll give you an economic insight here. One of the most important things that drive luxury brands is called the auction model. So an auction means that there are people bidding for something. So when you see a stock market, that's an auction. It's like we've got this many shares and they're going to the highest bidder. Whoever is willing to pay X for it can get one. And if you're not willing to pay this much for it, then you can't get it. So this auction method of pricing is what creates luxury brand experiences. So when you think about the Lamborghini, it's really an auctioned asset. It's something that says we are only making 20 of this particular model, and if you want one, it costs this much. And if the demand for these increase the 20 that we have to sell, then we're going to increase the price until we only have 20 buyers, right? And until we have no more buyers. So that's one component that you need to understand economically for the rest of what I'm about to say to make sense. So what I said was think smaller. And when I say think smaller, think more specific. Most people, when they think about a luxury brand, they try to, they don't think about, they think about being flashy, but they don't think about being selective. They think about being high priced, but they don't think about people losing, people not being able to get it, and that's something that's very interesting. So those are some of my thoughts on luxury positioning. Is understanding that a luxury brand is a brand that ensures people that want it miss out, but the people that want it the most get it, and they are very specific about who that small market of people are. And one of the biggest steps to luxury positioning and brand positioning in general is deciding what select few you wish to serve.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about marketing, marketing begins with the market. It begins with who you want to serve. So when you talk about like that being like the cornerstone, that is literally the cornerstone of all marketing, all positioning. It's about who is that specific population that you want to serve. Okay. Now I wrote down something. I was just having a couple thoughts and I'm thinking to myself, like, why do people buy luxury stuff? So put it in the chat, guys. Why do you think people buy luxury stuff? Just put it in the comments. What are your thoughts? Why do you think people buy luxury stuff? Because Bobby, when I saw this video the other day. A guy bought a lighter, a cigar lighter. Can you guess the price of the cigar lighter? Just take a wild guess.
I think you've told this story before, but I don't remember the number. But it was up there. I'm gonna assume it was $100,000.
Something like that. Maybe a little bit more.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit more for a cigar lighter.
Yeah.
And then he said something. He said, people will look at my cigar lighter and they'll say, do you really need a cigar lighter that lights? Like you could literally get a lighter for like $1, right? Do you really need a cigar lighter that costs $100,000? And he said, absolutely. He said, I absolutely need it. He said, I absolutely need it. And let me show you something. Let's have a little sidebar conversation here. Let's talk about, and we spoke about this assets, money. What is money? Number one. And what is an asset? Remember, we spoke about that, Bobby. You know what he said? He said you could get a cigar lighter for like $100. Okay. Now you can get the lighter that he got for it was somewhere between 35,000 to $100,000, something like that, some crazy number like that for a cigar lighter, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he said? He said, if I go to a bar, if I go to a cigar lounge, okay, two men at a cigar lounge, one guy pulls out a regular cigar lighter. Okay, nothing happened. Like he lights a cigar, he has a cigar, that's it. The other guy with the expensive cigar lighter that was built by a premium brand, by a luxury brand. What was the name of the brand? It must have been like a Bugatti cigar lighter, some crazy brand.
Right.
Yeah, Bugatti makes watches. In case you didn't know, Bugatti makes cigar lighters. When you see a guy or a woman with a Bugatti watch, you know that they're a Bugatti owner. The watch looks like the Bugatti. But anyways, he says when he sparks the cigar lighter, the specific cigar lighter that he has is the only one in the world with the specific sound that it makes when there's a little wheel that turns on the inside when he sparks it. And he says that somebody with money can sit across the room of the cigar lounge. And when he sparks it, the person with money is gonna turn around and be like, who just lit that cigar lighter? Because only people with money know about this kind of things, right? So
Hmm.
like, who just lit that?
Yeah.
And instantly there's a connection made. And guess what? The connection itself leads to them making more money than the cigar lighter. Isn't that amazing? Guys, we're talking about luxury. Luxury, write this down. Luxury has its own language. Luxury has its own language. So when you talk about assets, so and most people didn't notice, if you buy a Rolls Royce, the value of the Rolls Royce doesn't go down. I don't know if people know that. If you buy if you buy a Rolls Royce today, Bobby, if you buy any other car, as soon as you drive off the lot with a car, the value decreases 50%. So if a car costs you $100,000, like a Honda, some regular car, when you drive off the 100,000, it now becomes 50,000 as soon as you drive off, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes. With a Bugatti, okay, with a luxury brand, the value does not decrease. So it's a store of value. Write that down, guys. Store of value. It's a store of value. It's an asset. So why would somebody own 100 Bugattis? It's because they're saving their money. Whether the economy goes up, it goes down. You can buy a Rolls Royce today, and 10 years from now, you sell the Rolls Royce for the same money that you bought it or slightly higher price. It doesn't go down. It's an asset. The value does not diminish. So we have to like when we talk about luxury, write that down. The value does not diminish. So the question becomes, let's go back to branding now. How can you establish yourself as a luxury brand? Number one, you have to establish yourself as the most valuable. Okay. Number two, this is a secret. People buy luxury for status. Nobody needs a Birkin bag. Although the ladies in the chat might disagree with me, but I don't think nobody needs a Birkin bag. You buy a Birkin bag because Beyonce has one, and Cardi B has one, and this one has one, and that one has one, and you're sort of in like that Birkin club, right? But you don't need a. You can just get a regular bag, carry your stuff. You don't need no Birkin bag, but you're buying status. So write that down, status. Now, Bobby, interestingly enough, I'm a copywriter. When I write to the audience's lack of status. I actually I actually look at the profile. I say, okay, what sense of status is my ideal client lacking? What do they want to feel? Do they want to feel respected? Do they want to be industry experts? Do they want to be perceived as the boss? Do they want to be perceived as the boss lady, the boss man, whatever? How do they want to be received and perceived? Write that down. And then based on that, I write as a copywriter based on that lack of status. Does that make sense? Because like a guy said, if you're in a Ferrari and you're driving in traffic, the only like you cannot go fast if the speed limit is 60 miles an hour, you can't go faster than 60 miles an hour unless you want to get a ticket or go to jail or whatever. But if there's traffic, Bobby, you're driving at the same speed as the car next to you. So what's the difference? The only difference, and this is not my way, this is what a Ferrari owner says. The only difference is when you come to a light, you can look over to the right, and you could see that that other guy is not in a Ferrari, and you are. That's literally the only. When you really think of it, guys, it's really crazy, right? It's like, okay, I must be better than so and so because I'm in so and so and they're not. And I know, it sounds crazy, but that's literally what people buy, and people don't really understand it. Now, if you're building a luxury brand, write this down. It has to feel exclusive, exclusivity. So it has to feel like you're special because you're in here and everybody else is out there. If you have a coaching program, your coaching program has to feel like a secret club. Like if I'm part of the club, I'm on the inside and everybody else is on the outside. And that gives you a certain status, a certain feeling that, hey, I'm part of something that everybody cannot be part of. And people feel good as a result.
Hmm. Very, very detailed, Junior. I was like, okay, Junior's about to take this thing away, man. You guys better take your pencils out like I did. So if you were smart, you took your pencils out or your pens, whatever you're writing with, and really got busy because he gave us some interesting insights here. One of the ones that several of the ones that stuck out to me was the instant connections, which I'll talk a little bit more about, the store of value, which I'll talk more about, why people buy luxury. I put an interesting component next to that as well, and exclusivity. So all of those things were just different things that he said during his breakdown of this that I thought was really interesting. So let's start with the instant connections piece. Luxury has its own language, was what Junior said. And one of the things that I think about instant connections and luxury is most people have to learn the language before they can display the language. And what I mean by that is, I remember I was struggling to make a particular number of revenue a month a few years back. And Junior was working with the brand. He was an instructor at that time. And he said, the amount of money that you charge is can be connected and or correlated to the amount of money that you spend. So that's what he said to me. He was like, the more money you spend on a product, the more money you can expect to charge for a product because you know what it feels like to buy that now and what that experience feels like to own that product. And what a lot of people are experiencing when it comes to luxury sales, high ticket sales, and why they're not selling as much as they want to is simply because they are not buying enough luxury things. Honestly, they're just not spending enough money to know what luxury is supposed to feel like. So they can't really charge luxury prices. So the instant connection piece in the luxury as a language, what really stuck out to me was that many people come into business with the right heart, but the wrong idea. They have the right heart, but the wrong idea. And the right heart is help as many people as possible, give back, become a humanitarian overnight. It's a great idea. I mean, like, it's a great heart. Help as many people as you can. But it's the wrong idea because people buy for very different reasons than why people, so to speak, take, if you will. So I read a post yesterday that said, if you're a giver, beware of how much you give because takers have no limit. It said, if you're a giver, beware of how much you give because takers have no limit. And what
Mm.
entrepreneurs are trying to figure out and what's, hanging them up when it comes to this luxury branding stuff is that they're coming from a space many times where they want to save the world. And then they're trying to give to takers instead of sell to buyers. Please pay attention to that distinction. Buyers buy and takers take. And if you just give to takers and you're not selective about who buys from you, you're not selective about the experience you create for a selective group of people, and you're not selective and specific about the approach and positioning that you have, then the company rarely ever gets off the ground. And that's luxury positioning or non-luxury positioning. Like, very few businesses actually launch because they don't have a proper brand launch. And they don't have a proper brand launch because they're not trying to launch a brand, they're trying to save the world. And they just don't realize that you can have a great impact on the world. You can really be a part of saving the world, but you don't do it in one fell swoop. You do it by being good at one thing first. and then getting even better at that one thing. I'm almost confident, and I've never seen the numbers, that Ferrari donates a ton of money. I would be convinced. I'm very convinced. I've never seen the numbers that Bugatti donates a ton of money, that Louis donates a ton of money. And they donate this money because they have it, but they have it because of their luxury positioning and the brand that they have and the price that they command in the marketplace. They don't make these donations because they're just giving stuff away. No, they brand it, they position themselves, and they sell to their ideal client, and they give a percentage of the proceeds away. And that's something that you really want to think about if you're looking for what our clients look for, which is income and their impact primarily, influence, and independence. So that was one thing that just stuck out to me. Let's see where we're at on time. So I'm going to finish up two more of these and then we'll go to our break. But that just really stuck out to me. It's like the language of luxury. It's bigger than what many of us think it is. Store of value. So value does not diminish. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was why cars depreciate. Why do cars depreciate? So many people don't know this. So a car depreciates not because the car is old now or the mechanics of the car are bad or just isn't good anymore. It depreciates because its resale value diminishes. And its resale value diminishes because the mind of the buyer, not the asset, the car itself. So in the mind of a buyer, what happens, and this is technical, this is really why cars depreciate. So what happens is if I buy a new car and I buy a new Honda and I drive that new Honda off the lot and I put 6 miles on it and I go to resell a Honda, the buyer is going to say, why? Why are you reselling this Honda to me for $20,000 if you just bought it for $20,000? So because they ask the question why, the prospect or the buyer then says something must be wrong with it. Nobody in their right mind would pay $20,000 for something and go try to sell it for $20,000 after driving it. Something's wrong with it. I'll give you 15 for it. I'll give you 17 for it. I'll give you 12 for it. And that's the depreciation of cars. It's not the depreciation of the asset itself. It's the inability to sell it for what you bought it for. And that's called purchasing. Like the resale value is what's diminished. But when it comes to luxury cars, the reason that it retains value has nothing to do with the car itself. It has everything to do with the buyer. Much like with a used car, like with a Honda, it has nothing to do with the resale value of the car itself. It has everything to do with the buyer. So the buyer of a Ferrari or the buyer of a Rolls Royce is going to say, why are you selling this luxury end item and that you've been holding in your garage? And that high end salesperson may say, well, it's not really fitting my collection right now. I've got this Jaguar that I want to add to my Jaguar collection, and this particular car is just taking up space. So I'd like to get rid of it so that I can make space for this other luxury car. And now the buyer says, you know what? I got a Lamborghini that I want to add to my collection anyway, and I just had that same situation about 2 years ago. I understand. Yeah, I'll give you this for it. So it's really the buyer seller relationship that has to do with the depreciation and appreciation of vehicle assets. And I think as I get ready to go to the break here, that's what you want to be thinking about. Is you want to think about how does your brand communicate in the marketplace based on its positioning. Like if someone were to have the opportunity to do business with you, how likely would they volunteer their seat to someone else? Or how likely would they fight to stay with you? And all of those are really good metrics for understanding if you've got a solid brand and a solid position in the marketplace without diving too deep into the numbers. So Junior, you definitely put on a clinic there. And I had to take some technical notes because the things you were saying were absolutely phenomenal and true.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Guys, we're gonna go to a quick break. When we come back, more on the topic. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I said Sean Ride East. I'm proud. I said Sean Ride East. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just a very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence.
Right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We're talking about positioning. So, how do you separate yourself in the market? Bobby, I want to take a slightly different turn on this one. Let's talk about sales. If you're in business, number one, you're in sales. That's number one. But let's talk about how do you actually, separate yourself from everybody else. Number one, you have to have a brand as a sales person, as an individual. So what builds brand? Content builds brand. So how much content are you putting out on a daily basis? Right? So how much content are you putting out on a daily basis? Most people in your industry probably not putting out content. And I'm not only talking for the online industry, I'm also talking about if you're brick and mortar, like how much of the content are you putting out and what kind of content are you putting out? Are you putting out success stories? Are you putting out case studies? Are you putting out evidence that speaks to what you do? Are you putting out actual helpful information? So that's number one. Number two, Bobby, are you providing the most value? Bobby, I've been in rooms with some of the top salespeople in America. Literally, some of the top salespeople in America, people that have broken sales records, etc., at car dealerships, solar, air condition, you name it. And you know what I realized? They're just like everybody else. There's no difference between them and anybody else. The only difference is they seem to have what I call winning energy. The winning energy comes from their ability or their willingness to serve. So, do you actually want to serve more than your competition? Like, are you actually serving people more than your competition? I was training this morning, and in my training, it said that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So, when you're not in the room or when you're not on the Zoom, what are people saying about you? Are you actually delivering the most value? And if not, and Bobby, check this out. At some point, I thought I was delivering a lot of value, and then you know what I realized? I realized I could do so much more. I could do so much more. Like, if you have a network of people, how many people in your network are you delivering value to for free on a monthly basis? No strings attached. You call Bobby, if Bobby's in your network, hey, Bobby, I'm giving out XYZ to people in my network, no strings attached. Here you go. Take it, explode your business, come back and tell me how it worked. How many people are you actually helping out on a daily basis? Are you only helping yourself or are you helping other people? When I started Bobby, I started working for free. I started helping people for free. I didn't ask anybody for money. The first sale I made, Bobby, the client asked me if they could pay me. I didn't I didn't ask for money. It was like, hey, can I pay you? By the way, man, can I pay you for this? I said, yeah, of course you can pay me for this. And then I make money. I didn't ask for money. If you're delivering value, then people will want to pay you. People will say, okay, this guy is working a little bit too hard. Let me give him some cash. If you're working with good-natured people, they're gonna recognize your value and they're gonna want to give you value back. So literally, and put it in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. No, not even a scale of 1 to 10. How many individual people have you provided value to in your network over the last 3 months? And I'm talking free value, free resources, no strings attached, no money included, things that could actually move the needle for them. How many people? Put it in the chat. That, Bobby, that alone will create, like over time, the compound effect of that is going to create a luxurious brand. It's going to separate you from the noise because the truth is, and you notice after COVID, everybody sort of jumped online. Everybody jumped online. Everybody's a guru. Everybody's an expert. And it's just not true. Now, if you're an expert at what you do, you should be able to give people value based on what you do. You should be able to consult. You should be able to actually help people, and word gets around. Everybody knows everybody. And if you're the kind of person that's delivering real value, people will catch on and they'll find out, and then other people will find out, and then you start to build your brand that way. Okay? So
Yeah,
many people that I know have businesses built on referrals. If your business is built on referrals, it means you're doing something right. Literally. Yeah.
absolutely.
I wanted to say that's just another take on it. Um, you know, Position is not always about the technical things. It's about just action, the simple things. If I go online and there's 12 people talking about Bobby Jackson did this and Bobby Jackson did that and Bobby Jackson did this and Bobby Jackson did that, you know what I'm gonna say? Who's Bobby Jackson? Who's this Bobby Jackson everybody keeps talking about? Where do I get his stuff?
Hmm.
That's sort of what you're looking for. And just a quick side note. I know you used to be in the music industry, so maybe you'll notice Biggie. When Biggie was releasing, there was an album Biggie was releasing, and I think it was Busta Rhymes or whoever who told the story. I think it might have been Busta Rhymes who told the story. Said Biggie was literally giving away the album, and he was giving away dubs. He was just giving it away, like everybody. Like there were people lining up around the corner, and he was just giving it away. And they said to him, "What are you doing? Like, why are you just giving your stuff away?" And you know what he said? He said, "I'm gonna give this away so much, it's gonna make anybody who doesn't have one look like they're the hater. Like everybody's gonna be walking around with my album, and if you don't have one, you look stupid not having an album."
Hmm.
Plus, because he did the dubs, all of the DJs, like he was everywhere, literally everywhere. And people didn't understand his marketing strategy, but he was an absolute genius.
Yeah. You know, as I think about how many people you're helping for free, what do people say about you when you're not in the room, and winning energy? Like, how much content are you putting out? Like, I'm writing all of these things down. And one thing that they all have in common is service and value. Service and value. So it's how much value you can produce and how willing you are to serve when we talk about the segue from positioning to brand development. And one of the things that I think is not talked about enough is why the freemium model works so well. So a lot of people have bought into a freemium model of some kind. I'll give you guys some examples of some of the most popular freemium models out right now. Netflix had a freemium model for a long time. You had another freemium model with ChatGPT. You can use it for free or you can go premium. Another common one is YouTube. You can watch it for free with ads, or you can watch it for a price with no ads. And what these are all doing is they're giving you value, and they're serving at a high degree for free. And then after they create a space in your mind, a place in your heart, like after they've established themselves, they offer you a greater experience. And most times the person, they either offer you a better experience, or they say, if you want to continue the current experience, then you need to make a payment. So in the case of Netflix, they're saying the freemium model says you can engage for free, but if you want to continue enjoying these movies on demand, no commercials, then you need to pay. Or if they are YouTube, they can say you can continue watching these videos for free, but if you want to watch them for free uninterrupted with movies included, then you need to pay. So what the model is with the freemium approach is, it's really saying who can give the most value for free and sustain the losses most economically while converting the most people. I'll say that again. The freemium model, this is technical business now, but we're really trying to give you guys the keys. So Junior is giving you guys the overlay. He's showing you how it works, and I'm giving you guys like the underpinnings of this stuff. So what's really happening is you're giving them value, but in the giving of value, you're sustaining expenses because it costs you to go live on StreamYard. This isn't a free platform. It costs you to get your content edited. If you have an editor, that's not free. It costs you to learn the information that you're providing. So you're getting coaching, consulting, or education courses. So all of these are expenses that you're incurring in order to deliver something for free. So you're not getting any monetary compensation up front. So you've got to be able to sustain those costs for an extended period of time. And then you've got to be able to convert a considerable number of the people that are benefiting from your value into paying customers that will help you then recoup the investment that you've made. So that's the business aspect of this. And what a lot of people don't understand about luxury positioning or brand positioning is that you cannot compete with I won't say you cannot compete. I will say it this way. It is extremely difficult to compete on price with someone that's giving it away for free. Think about that. You could have the best hot dog stand on the planet and be charging 50 cents. You could be charging 50 cents for the best hot dog on the planet, and people will pay. More people will go get that free hot dog than they will pay 50 cents for the best one. Why? Because they don't know that your hot dog's the best. Why don't they know your hot dog's the best? Because there's a free hot dog stand right next to you giving these things away like hotcakes. And guess what? If they eat the hot dog and the hot dog does what they say it's going to do, which is fill them up, like if they say it's going to have a hot dog, it's going to have ketchup and mustard on it, and they get ketchup and mustard on their hot dog and they start to build a relationship with the owner, they start to mingle with the crowd, they start to have fun, high-fiving each other in the line. Now there's a community there. And guess what? The guy's going to say, hey, man, if you guys want relish and chili on these dogs, these were the free ones, but we got the premium dogs right over here, man. These are premium Franks with relish, onion, and jalapeno. $1. $1. And guess what? Everybody in the line is going to want the premium dogs if they've been there any amount of time. And all the new people are going to get the free dog because they got to try it out. But then they're going to look to the right and see all the people getting the premium dogs for $1. And the guy selling the best hot dogs on the planet for 50 cents will go broke. Because you can't compete with price if your competition is giving it away for free. And that's the concept that many people don't understand in this current marketplace. Because we've transitioned from what was known as atoms to bits. So atoms means physical, tangible, and costly. Like it costs you a lot to produce it. But atoms means like it's virtual. It's not real. It's produced far cheaper. So the new barrier to entry is not what it used to be. And I'm giving you guys some like technical insights here. Like the old barrier to entry to business used to be capital acquisition. Like if you were going to make it in business, you used to have to be able to get a lot of money up front to buy assets, be it trucks, trailers, cement, materials, labor, all of those things. Those were the old barriers to entry when we were using Atom, like when we were doing brick and mortar. But when we moved from brick and mortar to click and order, the barrier to entry shifted. The barrier to entry is no longer how much money can you accumulate at one time and purchase assets. The new barrier to entry is how long can you sustain cost over time? And whoever can sustain the most cost over the longest period of time and convert the most customers is the person that wins. And too many people aren't positioned to give away enough value for free for an extended period of time. And that's why brand positioning is so important, because, and I'll turn it back over to you, Junior, here, but the reason brand positioning and luxury positioning is, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do when you launch a brand is because the positioning of your brand will determine in a large quantity the price of the first purchase. So what I mean by that is if you have a premium brand and a premium brand versus bargain basement, let's say both of you guys give services away for free and you both get a certain amount you both get 10 customers each to convert. If I have a bargain basement brand and I gave my stuff away for free, they're going to expect to pay a bargain basement price when I upsell them. If I have a premium brand and they are looking to do business with me, they're looking to pay a premium price. So if you look at Netflix and Disney, like Disney is going to charge you more than Netflix simply because Disney's been around longer. Their brand is bigger. Their name is a little bit stronger. Netflix is great. Like they're creme de la creme. But when you put these two brands side by side and they both have a freemium model, you're paying less for Netflix and you're paying more for Disney. But they both ran the same model. So it's really a matter of how fast you want to recoup that investment of cost expended while giving away free value. A ton of mathematics goes into this, but we're going to stop there. But Junior, that's been my take on some of the things that you've been sharing this morning.
Very nice, Bobby. You said something that I wanted to highlight. You used the word a while ago. No, I didn't write the word down. Should have written it down, but I did write language. So when we talk about luxury positioning, we want to talk about luxury language. So, oh yeah, so you said franc. That's what you said. You said a franc. So guys, put it in the chat. What is the mental image? What is the feeling you get when I say hot dog as opposed to a frank? Let's talk about that. Hot dog sounds like, in my opinion, it sounds like crowd. I think of crowd. When I hear hot dog, I think of like a crowd, a big crowd. But when I hear frank, to me, a frank could be some kind of special hot dog you get at a restaurant. That's what I think of, like an Italian restaurant, and they're bringing out this really realistically like a hot dog, but it's a frank. It's a sophisticated kind of hot dog made with maybe some kind of special organic grass-fed beef or something like that. Like when you start talking like that, when you start talking about hot dog, we're not. I don't expect it to be grass-fed. It could be a mixture of meats. We don't know what's in it. But when you start talking about like, okay, this is a frank, and this is like, and I'm sure there's another wood that they use for it, like where they serve it and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure you can get like an organic, grass-fed beef style hot dog ish kind of thing in a bun with the sauces and all that. And I'm sure they don't call it a hot dog. And if they did, they probably put a couple words before it to make it sound very luxurious, right? So language, and I think this is the last thing we'll leave you with because it's top of the hour almost. But language and the way that you say things, position things. So remember, we spoke about the $100,000 bottle of water. What do they call it? They call it the Beverly Hills something diamond H2O. Like they're not even calling it water anymore. They're now calling it H2O. Guys, language is key. If you want to position yourself as luxury, what kind of luxury language are you using? Is it just a coaching program or is it something more? Like, what is your luxury language for your industry?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your luxury language for your industry? So I want to leave you with that. Okay. Guys, we're gonna end here for today. Tomorrow though, we will be back. Bobby, was there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, the last thing that I would leave them with is people. I heard this, I forget who I heard it from, but I heard this recently. They said people don't buy what they want, they buy what other people buy. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So just the next time you're buying something, think about how many other people bought that thing and how you associate with those people. Because most times, like people buy luxury houses because other people buy luxury houses, and nice Jordans because other people buy nice Jordans. But like if they were on an isolated, island, and there were houses, shoes, and shirts, like these people will probably buy the average shirt, the average pair of sandals, and the average house. But it's simply because of their environment and what other people are buying, which has a great influence on what they end up buying themselves. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yes, yes. All right, guys. So this has been Breakfast with the Brand. Have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. If you need anything, just reach out. Speak soon. See you tomorrow. Let's grow.
Let's grow.